We got like a little bit less than a minute left. Like most of us are getting there. Not we got there. If you have finished, turn to the back. It's going to be a really challenging question. We are going to be working in groups, so you can start talking about it. Well, before we go over this, do first. Ooh, I like it. Some of you guys already started on this floor too. Good job. Okay, seems like 100% of us have finished with the do first. We'll cut it short, a little bit short. Quickly, just turn to the back, the do first. Whenever I call you, just go ahead and tell me what you got for your answer. So in the first one, I'm multiplying something times n, and I get n squared. What am I going to get on that one? I'm going to do it real fast, so just be ready to give me the answer. Number one, what you get for that one, Christian? N. Awesome. N times n is going to be n squared. How about blank times 6? What's going to be for that one, Kimberly? Awesome. N times 6, 6n. How about number 3? What you get for that one? I want to hear from Chris. X squared. Negative 4 times x squared. Negative 4x squared. How about number 4, Thomas? Excellent. 9. Not only the 9, because if we had to have another m, then we had m squared, right? How about number 5? I want to hear from Daniela. 2. Why? Notice how I said Daniela, not any other name on the way in. How about number 6? What you get for that one, Brenda?
3K.
3K. Here, it's very important for us to understand that there's 2 K's, so whatever I'm multiplying by has to have another K in order for it to be K squared. And then 3 times 6, 18. How about number 7? What you get, Alondra? Alondra R. Yeah. Awesome. 3D. And we 3 times 1, 3d squared times d cubed. How about the last one? I want to hear from Maria. What you get for the last one?
2d squared.
Excellent. 2d squared. 6 times 2, 12, d squared. Okay, believe it or not, this is going to be huge and very important. And the fact that we didn't make one single mistake, and as I was walking around, I saw it too. Good job. This is going to help us big time. Turn to the back. This might be one of the hardest portions of today. I still want you guys to explore this and just figure it out. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Every minute and a half, I'm going to give you 1 hint. A total of 3 hints. I'm going to write them over here so you don't forget the hints. After 1 minute, I'm going to give you the first hint. But for right now, read the problem, try to figure it out. You're working in groups. You got 5 minutes. After 1 minute, I'm going to give you 1 hint. You can talk. You can even collaborate with other groups if possible. You figured it out, right? There you go. You got a good start. 13, when you got that? Yeah. Think about what a square has. Okay. Good. Square has 4 sides. I want you to think about that. Okay. Cool. So we know every sign has to be the same, right? So that means this has to be the same. How does that affect that? Since I'm multiplying 2 different things, how does that affect that? I'm multiplying something with something. They have to be the same thing. And what am I getting? 25. I'm multiplying the same thing. They have to be the same thing. What am I multiplying? And it has to be for both of them, right? So then whenever you're doing your thoughts, you know what goes in the first one and the first for both of them. Does that make sense? Now try working backwards from that. All right, a minute has passed. Here's the first hint. We said that it's a square. What does square have? Equal sides, right? Okay. Now, if I'm finding the area of a square and they have the same sides, that means both of them have to be equivalent or the same, right? Okay, keep that in mind. If I'm multiplying two things and both of them have to be the same, it's like, okay, I know we're going to be dealing with a box, and I know that the sides are going to have to be the same. Do I know what the first term needs to be based on this? That was hint number one. Keep going now. Still try to figure it out. Yep, keep going. So you know you're using a box. Excellent. And you got square. What I said was, they're equal sides. You do this one. Exactly. Okay. So let's start then by finishing the box. Right? Excellent. So you already know it's supposed to be a 5. Because 5 times 5 is 5. What else?
No, bro.
Because you got x squared.
Sure.
What else?
How do you do it?
Right, you seem to have a little bit more information over here. What did you think it was?
Yeah, but I do the x.
Because of the x squared, right? You said there was 5 and an x. Now, they both need to be what?
Oh.
So we got to be careful. Does that make sense? We still need to find the other term.
This one, like, you said 5.
Probably I don't know what that is on. Nothing. Is it a 4 or 5?
What's that?
Never mind.
Here's hint number 2. 25x squared. What two things, look, thinking of your do first, what two things do I need to multiply together to get 25x squared? Okay, I know that it is going to be 5x and 5x. Why? Because 5 times 5 is going to be 25. And I know that x times x is going to be x squared. So I know this is going to be 25x squared. Does that tell me anything else about the thing? Now, you still got a minute and 21? Still try to figure out what that k might be. Okay, you're going somewhere else. Keep going. Yeah. Once you keep working backwards, I think you're going to get what k is supposed to be. Because I already got it. So you do that first one.
Sorry, Mom.
I think we have to deal with the 40.
So it's.
But I think it's going to be like,
You have to remember you have to add.
What do we know? Yeah. What do we know about these two?
So
You gotta add them together.
And they have to be how much? 40. So whenever I do things together, it has to be 40. It has to be the same. What does each one have to be?
How many numbers do you have to
Okay,
remember?
so right. So each one has to be that, right? Excellent. So now, I like what she did. She said that this was 40, one of the boxes. Now I know that if you
Oh,
combine
no.
these ones,
Why?
it's going to be 40, right?
with
Now since they both need to be the
So that's
same,
true.
what did each one have to be? Combined has to be 40. What did each one have to be?
No, because I'm trying to. I
When
think
I add the different,
right? Like, here's my x's,
well, I'm adding
here's
this
my
one
k's.
plus
Yeah, I agree.
What are you supposed to be? No.
Yeah.
What do you do with
and
those?
I know they need to be the same.
You distribute, and how many numbers end up being added together?
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Well, I'm adding these if I'm not multiplying. They have to be the same thing. What's that?
Okay, I think.
Excellent. Don't forget to get there. So you found what it is. Excellent. Good job. Good job. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? Good job. Good job. You got it too? Let me see, Chris. If you guys come up.
Yeah, I got it.
Good job.
I didn't know we were
It's okay. It was tough. Keep in mind the first time I did it. Here, I gave it to another teacher. I couldn't figure it out. But it was a tough problem, okay?
Please tell me it wasn't a math teacher. No. Don't tell me.
All right, take a look at this. So I'll give you guys a few hints, getting you a little bit. I want to say 1, 2, at least 2 groups came up with it. Good job. This was definitely a tough problem. I was honest to that table over there. I told them I did give it to a math teacher earlier during the week, and they were having hard times with it. So I totally understand. If you didn't quite get the entire thing, it's okay. So that's why it's like an explorer. Maybe you could have gotten it. I will say it's going to be one of the hardest ones. We are going to be doing this semester, and by the fact that some of you guys already got it, it seems like we're in a very good spot. Now, the next step, the last hint that I just couldn't give you based on time restrictions was this. I know that it's a square, And I know that whenever I'm writing my polynomial, what do I do with these two? I add them, right? And whenever I combine them, what am I going to get?
40.
How do you know that?
Because we're creating the polynomial, but we're working backwards to solve it.
Okay, so I know both of these ones, when I add them, they have to be 40. Now, if it's a square and they're both the same, what does each one have to be?
20.
Because,
It adds to 40.
exactly. So this one has to be 20x, and this one has to be 20x. So how we came up with that, we said, okay, we said that something plus something, and they have to be the same, have to come up with 40x. Therefore, here, let me try to see, there you go. 20x there, yep, I got magic powers. And there you go. 20x there. All right. Now, working backwards, some of you guys already done it, but if you did it already, I don't want to hear from you. I want to hear from somebody else. That back table, do we quite get to this? Perfect. Then I'm going to use you guys. All right. I got 20x over here, and I got 5x over here. What did I need to multiply in order to get 20x then? What was it? 4. Excellent. And I got 5x over here and 20x over here. Yes, maybe I'll let you answer that one. What do I need to multiply? 4. Okay. What is the only thing that we have missing now?
Okay.
And what is k?
4 times 4.
How do we figure that out?
4 times 4.
4 times 4, what is that?
16.
Therefore, my k has to be 16. What you guys think of that? That was okay? After a few minutes, I see Thomas like, no. It's okay, we are going to practice it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to turn into our notes. We're going to turn into our notes. Just in case this was a little bit overwhelming, I am going to be writing the steps in the board. In case you feel the need at any moment, like, oh dude, I need help with the next step. Look at the board. We're going to list them through, and then we're going to be able to do it. Okay? All right. Take a look at the notes for today. Cool. Good job. In case you got it, that was really tough. I'll tell you guys who was the math teacher who didn't get it afterwards. All right. Now, here, before we start, just like how I told you guys that, like every single time we use math, it's not for the purpose of doing. Over here, I'm going to be dividing. Tell your partner one instance in life or somewhere where you have divided before. So you got 30 seconds. Tell someone where you have divided before. Where have you divided? Where have you divided? Tell each other. Where have you guys divided?
How?
Your apple? Oh, who did you divide it in? I was dividing.
Yeah.
How about you?
My hair's not black, brown.
So how many pieces? However many pieces there was, right? How about you guys? How did you use this one?
What?
Your dad.
Word? Never mind.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna hear from you right now. All right, come back. Here, I want to hear from at least 3 people. Since I was going around, the very first one I want to hear is very basic example. Kimberly, how have you ever used division before? There you go. You got a best friend? She might be in this classroom or not. You cut it in half. You give it the other in half. How about you, Stephanie? How did you ever use division? Cutting a cake. How many people were you trying to serve?
1.
So what did you do whenever you cut it? You divided it evenly, right? Sometimes you give someone a little bit more, right? Because they ask for it more. How about you, Larry? What you do? You tell me something about helping your dad. What was it?
I gotta help my dad sell materials.
So how did you divide?
So I had to divide how many materials he had and how many materials I could sell to each person.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good job. Now, the whole point of this, we are going to be dividing. Sometimes in life, we're going to come up with unknowns. And that unknown, we're going to have to call them something. And for the purpose of algebra, we're going to go ahead and call them variables. Later on, we are going to see how something like this can be more applied to real-world scenarios. And it's going to be like after the first go of like the basic skills. But for this one, this is what we're going to say. We're going to say that. On this one, take a look at this first polynomial. What's the biggest exponent? Square, right? Okay. That's going to tell us something very important. Let's make an arrow to that. That's going to tell us the number of columns. So the exponent of 2, how many columns do you think that's going to have? 2. So we're going to put 2 columns. This is going to help us draw our Punnett square. The other dimension that we need, though, is going to come off of somewhere else. We already used the first polynomial, so now we have to use the second one. How we use the second one is we're going to count how many terms you got on the second one. N and minus 6. How many terms is that? 2. So then this one has 2, and since it has 2 terms, it's going to have 2 rows. So, whenever I draw my Punnett square, how am I going to draw my Punnett square? A 2 by 2. A 2 by 2 Punnett square. So let's go ahead and over here, draw a 2 by 2 Punnett square. As I'm doing this, I am going to be writing the steps on the board. That way, in case we do get lost, for any sort of reason, you can look back at the board and be like, oh, that's how we do it. Now, look at the very first term to determine the number, and without even thinking, we already did number 1. The first one, look at the first term to determine the number of columns. Let's put in columns. Let's write that in. Columns. To figure out the number of rows, count the number of terms in the second polynomial. Excellent. So we're already in step 3. All right. If we read step 3, it says, write the second polynomial on the blank. Now, for the purpose, yeah, I see you're already doing it with your hand. For the purpose of today, going forward, I am going to give you a little bit of liberty of putting it wherever you want to, but for the purpose of today, we're going to say we're always going to be doing the one we divide on the left side, okay? So we're going to do it on the left side. The left side. So then, if I'm going to be doing it on the left side, that means I'm going to be doing this n minus 6. I'm going to be literally writing it on the left side. So I'm going to put an n and a minus 6. That's step 3. Step 4 is going to be place the blank, it says, and we're going to write place the first term of the first polynomial. And before I do that, and tell you what the answer is, what's the first term of the first polynomial? Look at it in your polynomial. Which one is it? Point to it. N squared. Okay, I have a Punnett square. Where do you think n squared is going to go then? Top left. Why? It's the first one. So finishing that one, we're going to say on the first box then as well. On the first box. So now we put n squared here. Now it should ring a bell on how the Explorer sort of looked. N squared, and the do first as well. I know I got blank stuff over here. Before you start, I just want to come up with an assumption real quick. We don't know if this is true or not. But this is going to be the polynomial that was in there, right? Where do you think our answer is going to be? Like whenever I solve this, where's my answer going to be? The last box? So Brenda's thinking the last box. I'm thinking the last box is going to be the regular term. It's going to be that 24 for some odd reason. Yeah. Okay, is that going to be our answer? Yeah, where's my full answer going to be? Okay, in the top, because I know this, I know what I'm dividing by, I know what I'm dividing. What don't I know? The top part. So that top part, that's what's going to be our answer in the end. So we got to keep that in mind. So now, n times what will give me n squared? N. So we put in n at the top. We're like, okay, I'm almost halfway there. I got half of the answer already. Then, you're like, wait, the other only box I can fill in, which one is it? I got an n, and what else now? Negative 6. What can I do with these two? And then put them where? Alright, so negative 6 times n, what is that? So I put negative 6n. Okay. Here's going to be probably one of the trickiest part of this whole thing. I know that I need to get to negative 10n. So I always do this personal step off to the side. I do negative 6n, and I do not know what this needs to be, but I know I need to add it. And what does it need to be in the end? Negative 10n. In the end, it needs to be negative 10n. So, what can I possibly add to make negative 6n turn into a negative 10n? Do I need it? Yeah, well, Christian's already kind of saying the answer. Yeah, good job. But does it need to be a positive number? No, it needs to be more negative, right? So that one, negative 6n, we need to add a negative 4n in order for it to be negative 10n. Once you figure out that's a negative 4n, where are we going to put it? Where can we put this? Wherever we put in that one, right? So that's going to be a negative 4n. Finally, we can figure out the rest of this Punnett square. N times what will give me negative 4n? Negative 4. And we always need to make sure that the last box is not empty as well. What's going to be negative 6 times negative 4? And that's how I know that I did this problem correctly. Because I got 24 in the end. So, hold up though, we're still not finished. Where had we said our answer was going to be? In the top. So what's my answer for this problem? Awesome. So my answer is going to be n minus 4. And that's my answer. Now, we got two options. Go ahead and turn over to the next page. I'll give you guys 1 minute to get started at the top while I write the steps to follow in the board. After that minute, I'm going to quickly just model that one again, and then you're going to have 6 minutes to work on the next 3 problems, okay? Go ahead and get started. If you do need help, keep in mind I am going to be writing the steps to follow up in the board, okay? You can get started. Step number 1, decide how big your Punnett square is going to be. How did we do that? Well, we looked at the exponent over here. Oh, that means 2 columns. I looked at this one, at the second polynomial, and I was like, oh, 2 terms. So it's going to be a 2 by 2. Most of the time. Step number 2, we wrote in second polynomial on the left side. Step number 3, we fill in the very first box. And finally, step number 4, we would be working backwards. Keep in mind, I was still thinking of modeling this one. In case you were still lost for this one and you want another model, look up. In case you got it, just keep working and check yourself as I'm doing it. I know that this has an exponent of 2. That means 2 columns. This has 2 terms. That means 2 rows. So it's going to be a 2 by 2. I'm going to draw a 2 by 2 Punnett square. That's how I figure out how big it is. Step number 2, write in second polynomial on the left side. So I'm going to write a minus 3. Right. Step number 3, fill in the very first box. Meaning this first box with the first term, a square. Now I work backwards. A times what will give me A squared? Millie, give me a help with this one. A times what will give me A squared?
What?
A times what will give me A squared? Hey, help me out with the bottom term as well. What's going to be the bottom term?
-3.
Awesome. The other little step that I said could have been tricky, what would have been combining these two, meaning the negative 3A plus, we don't know yet, and they have to equal 5A. That was a little bit tricky, but Christian, I bet you got to it already. What was going to be negative 3 plus something gave you 5A? What was that? 8. A positive, an even bigger positive number. Negative 3 took 3 steps backward. You need to take 8 in order to go forward. 8A. And so we put 8A there. Finally, we filled on the rest of the boxes. Maria, you're going to help me with this one. 8 times what will give me 8A? 8, and I need to multiply times something, and it gives me 8A. 8, awesome. And 8 times negative 3, what is that going to be? Awesome. What does that let me know, Maria? The negative 24. Does it give you confidence? Yeah. Why does that give you confidence?
Because, yeah, that one, it's showing -24 and -24.
Awesome. So therefore your answer is going to be, what did you say your answer was going to be? Which?
8, 8 plus 9.
Plus, yeah. Well,
8.
there you go. 8 plus 8. Excellent. A plus 8. The top part. I see most of you guys have already moved on. We got 3 more problems at the bottom. I'm going to quickly go around checking, just making sure like you guys are okay with these basic skills. Some of you guys have finished already. Move on to the next part. We got the next 6 minutes. Go. Tom, how we doing? How we doing? Very good first step. What's going to be our second step? We already left it. What's our third step? Go ahead. Go there. We're going to create a little thing. We got a cutoff for us to use today and tomorrow as well. At any time. What's going to be step number 3?
You got tired.
Good. Excellent. And now you figure out that's next. What else can you figure out now? Okay, good. Now do yourself a favor and you see what I did over here on the right?
Yeah.
Escribe eso también. So put that one, right? And you need to add. It's always add something. Put a blank. Yeah, put a blank. And then, yeah, exactly. And you put that. What do you think you need to add in order to get for it? And where are you going to put it? No, it needs to be that. You had it right. Okay. Put 3 up. Come on. Okay. Where is that going to belong? Oh, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have confidence. I'm gonna come check in, but I think you're gonna have it right. Go check yourself. I always make sure you box in the correct answer though, or like you make it legible. This could like somebody could be like a g to the exponent of 2. So you want to go g minus. Excellent. Good job. Excellent. Excellent. Good job.
Good, or
You get 2 plus g. Oh wow, what an odd way of getting it. Good job though. Excellent. Good job, man. Oh, you already there? Ooh, you already found it. Nice. Excellent. Some of you guys are already working on the area problems in the back. Excellent. Good job. That problem number 12 though, that's going to challenge you. Keep being challenged, okay? That problem number 12 is definitely going to challenge you. Good job. Excellent. Negative 7g plus blank equals negative 90, right? Negative 90 is always this, right?
Yeah.
No, this one, 5, 4. Negative 10. It's always the middle term, okay? Esa va a ser la parte más difícil. So negative 90. Pon acá. And then just remember as you're going forward, that's going to be it, okay?
Like this?
So which one?
Well, that is what you're doing. Whether you know it or not, that's what you're doing. Keep thinking about how you do that. Excellent. Josiah? Yeah, keep going. That 12 is going to challenge you guys, okay? Keep working hard. Struggle, okay? I know you guys can get it.
how would you do it?
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. You're getting it. Right or
I
not?
got it.
Good job. Let me see. No, you made one little tiny mistake. You made one little tiny mistake. Revise your first step on number 12. And see these ones. Touch fine. Easy. Good job. Excellent. Make sure you have out your demerit card in case you don't, guys. I'm trying to give props and a few of you guys don't have it out. Don't be crazy. Don't be wild. Excellent. Good job. That 12. Hey, that 12 is going to challenge you guys to work together. Figure it out, okay? Good job. Good job. Alejandro? Excellent. Good job.
You okay?
Excellent. Don't forget the G. -7G. -7G plus blank is exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be abstract, but think about this. We start at -7G. I need to get to -9G. Okay? No, that's why I rewrote it here. That's going to be 3x squared plus 3x minus 80. You already got these two? Good job. Okay, this one's going to challenge you. Keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about it. What can you do, okay? You guys got it?
No.
In the back?
Yeah.
Just check it. I'm just check it. I mean, or like at least check your work. Whenever you think it's right, check yourself and answer. Good job. Excellent. Seems like we're all on that number 12 at the bottom now. Excellent. Good job. I will give, since it seems like the majority of us are on that number 12, reminder that the volume of a cube or a rectangular prism is going to be length times width times height, or base times height times width, whichever one you like to use. Good job. How about these ones? Good job. I love the effort. Keep working, okay? Keep working. Good job. Termina. Good job. After that one, challenge yourself. Try to do the next word problem, okay?
So you gotta combine what you get. So you basically you gotta add this to this.
Well, not add. What are you doing? What are you adding with the length and the width?
No, combining these two.
Yeah.
So when you
But here, this is a key that you missed. A parenthesis. Why does that matter? Here's a huge thing that I think that this is part of the reason why we're missing number 12. Do not forget to put it in a parenthesis, right? The length, width, and height, put them all in a parenthesis. I'm going to give you guys at least 3 more minutes because I see we already moved on to the next one. So 3 more minutes to finish this next one. Keep practicing. That last number 12, right? And I'm gonna sort of do what I'm talking about over here. I know that the volume is length times width times height. What I'm saying is, do not forget to put it in parentheses. If you do not use parentheses, like how we've talked about, there's a lot of room for mistake there. I think the parentheses are going to help us see clearly what's a possible mistake that we can make. Yes, there is. Like you already figured out that you could get this, and you're like, oh, I bet I know what it's being multiplied to. Is that what you're thinking, or what are you thinking?
Were you going to negative 600?
Oh, but like without the box? Is that what you're thinking? It's longer. It's called synthetic division, and it's actually a little bit confusing. And like, if anything tomorrow, like I'll give you like a sheet, and you'll be like, oh, you will explore it, and if you like it, you can do that. Did you already get the volume problem?
Yeah.
Good. Try doing the rest one. The rest one. What's up? Excellent. There you go. You got it, good. Good job. You got it. Chance to test it. Excellent. Good job. I bet you can get number 11 as well. only changes do this real quick. That's positive, what does that have? And then what does that have? And that's when I can check it off, okay? And that's positive, that's how I took it.
They gave me the equation.
9 plus x, where are you getting that 9 plus x? I like this. I like this one. Este, we still don't know it, yeah? It's just the length. So for right now, just put in